Nobody, and we mean nobody, saw this coming. Terence "Bud" Crawford, the undefeated king of the ring, just turned the entire culture on its head. After dominating inside the ropes, he's now stepping outside the ring and straight into the booth. And who's he gunning for? Drake. But here's the kicker. He didn't just drop bars, he did it in Kendrick Lamar's voice. Yes, you heard that right. In a move that's left the internet gasping, Terence Crawford released a secret freestyle. That instantly went viral, not just because of the heat but because fans couldn't tell if it was Kendrick himself. The flow, the cadence, the tonette was a near-perfect mimic. But the message, a direct shot at Drake, filled with subliminals, boxing metaphors, and lines so cold, even the OVO camp went silent. Now questions are swirling. Is this war? Did Kendrick co-sign this? And why did Bud target Drake NOWA the peak of his rap battles with K? This ain't just a diss track. This is a cultural earthquake. Let's break it all down. Because what happens next might just destroy more than one career. Let's get into it. Before the shots were fired, before the internet exploded, and before fans started flooding comment sections with fire emojis and snake symbols, we need to rewind, because this war, it's been brewing in silence for years. Terence Crawford, widely respected as one of the greatest pound-for-pound boxers of our time, has always been the quiet storm. Unlike the showboating flash of some of his rivals, Bud's game was always calculated, strategic, and brutally effective. But outside the ring, Terence kept it low-key. No rap feuds, no messy headlines, no thirst for clout. So when whispers began swirling that Bud was in the studio, people thought it was a joke. That is, until someone leaked a 27-second clip. And in that clip, a raspy, fierce, hyper-articulate flow that sounded like it came straight out of Compton. But the bars, pure Omaha grit. Heard a boy soft as velvet, stay in mansions but never in battle. I ran 20 miles before lunch, you ran from a shadow. The voice, Kendrick. The words, vicious. The energy, a warning. At first, fans were confused. Was this an unreleased Kendrick demo? A throwaway from the Not Like Us sessions? But one line changed everything. I'm from Omaha, but I punch like Wakanda, don't get it twisted. I see through personas. That's when the web blew up. Because only one man punches like Wakanda and lives in Omaha. Terence Crawford. But why would a world-class boxer throw himself into the boiling pot that is the Kendrick versus Drake beef? Well, here's where it gets wild. Months ago, Terence Crawford quietly unfollowed Drake on Instagram, and fans were quick to point out that Bud had also removed every song from Drake off his public playlists. People thought it was random, petty, maybe just algorithmic nonsense. But now, that unfollow feels like a silent declaration of war. And let's not forget, Crawford has always shown love to Kendrick Lamar, from wearing KDOT's lyrics on Fight Night shorts to using DNA and the heart part for inches as warm-up music. Before entering the ring, Terence's respect for Kendrick runs deep. But this new move, this wasn't a cosign. This was an alignment. And Drake, he wasn't ready. Insiders from a well-known boxing podcast claim that Terence has been working with a mysterious producer, someone who's allegedly part of Kendrick's PG Lang circle, to refine his delivery, craft his bars, and replicate the unmistakable Compton cadence. One source even told us it wasn't about being a rapper. Bud was making a point that he could beat Drake in the ring and the booth. And that's when the speculation started spiraling. Did Kendrick Lamar give Crawford his blessing to go after Drake? Was this retaliation for the subtle diss, said Drake? Threw at Bud during his brief boxing commentary stint with Showtime. Let's not forget Drake once laughed off a Crawford fight highlight on his IG story, calling the KO predictable. That moment barely registered back then. But now, It feels like the first domino that just toppled the entire tower. And while Terence has remained eerily quiet since the freestyle leaked, he did repost one image, a black square, no caption, but with a barely visible quote in red font that read, "I fight with fists and facts. I mimic voices but never respect pretenders." Fans immediately read between the lines. Crawford wasn't just mimicking Kendrick's voice, he was delivering a message on behalf of the one person Drake couldn't. Outrun, and the industry. Oh, they started listening. Because this wasn't just Be Fit, was coordinated, and Drake. He hasn't said a word since. But buckle up, because what you're about to hear next will make you question everything you thought you knew about this. Phew, the gloves are off. The mic is hot, and Bud ain't done yet. The clock had barely struck midnight when the full audio dropped. Out of nowhere, a SoundCloud account titled @RealVoicesNeverDie uploaded a track called Sparring Spirits, a nearly 4-minute lyrical assault that sent the internet into full-blown chaos. No artwork, no promotion, no tags, just bars. And within minutes, fans were shaking the voice. Still undeniably Kendrick's gaze, but the lyrics? Brutal, personal, calculated. All that owl talk for the birds. I'm the one that made the crows scatter. You drop albums like apologies full of flowers, but they all plastic. Then this line hit. I've seen you circle the block with that fake piece. Boy, I circle the ring like it's war peace. Ain't no certified lover in the jungle. Just prey and predators. I'm both. Social media went crazy. Was this Kendrick pulling the strings? Was this a diss track ghostwritten by him? Or was this really Terence Crawford letting the world know? He's not just a fighter, he's a lyricist with venom. That's when the first shockwave hit. A verified Twitter account claiming to be from Top Dog Entertainment's in-house engineer posted, "Don't get it twisted. That wasn't Dot." But Dot heard it and smiled. Just 12 words, but it confirmed everything. This was not Kendrick. But Kendrick knew, and Kendrick approved suddenly. People started treating the track like a sanctioned hit, a lyrical assassination authorized by the King of the West and Drake. DEAD. Silent, no IG story. No sarcastic laugh. No clever jab. Nothing but the OVO camp. Oh, they were fuming behind the scenes. Insider texts were leaked to 2 major hip-hop blogs. One message, reportedly from an OVO affiliate, read, "Drake got real enemies now, not just rap ones. This man bout that life." Another said, "It ain't music no more. This is legacy. That boy Crawford crossed a line." And just when fans thought the track couldn't get any more savage, the first twist dropped at exactly 9:13 a.m. the next morning. Terence Crawford posted a photo on his IG story with a caption that read, "This is what happens when the owl flies too close to the lion's den." The image, an unassuming studio pic dot, but in the background. On the wall, a platinum plaque, and not just any plaque. Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That studio? Confirmed to be PG Lang-owned. Let that sink in. Terence Crawford recorded this diss track inside Kendrick's studio. The very place Drake had allegedly been banned from visiting during his early days in LA. The same studio where the Not Like Us instrumental was first produced, and fans lost it. Twitter blew up with tweets like, "Wait a damn minute, bud. Recorded in Dot's house? This ain't Rapids, an ambush. Drake better stop flexing watches and start ducking haymakers. Bud out here rapping in Kendrick's voice. Nah man, we in a different dimension." Next thing you know, J. Cole gone pop out with a NAS chain on. Meanwhile, academics, commentators, and boxing analysts joined the frenzy. Skip Bayless even went off on live TV. Listen, I love Drake, I bump his tracks. But Terence Crawford just embarrassed him. That was a lyrical uppercut from hell. You don't come back from that easy. And Charlemagne, oh, he wasn't holding back either. Bud did what the entire rap game was scared to do. He took Drake's ego and body slammed it. This ain't entertainment. This is domination. But here's where things spiraled even further. That same day, a mysterious clip was posted to TikTok by an anonymous account. The video was grainy, but clearly showed Drake on a yacht with his inner circle, listening to something on his phone, then slamming it down mid-playback and storming off. One frame showed him saying, "Man, why he sound like Kendrick?" You could feel the tension. Was Drake rattled? Had the mimicry cut too deep? One thing was clear. The emotional power behind Bud's delivery was undeniable. He didn't just borrow Kendrick's style, he embodied it. And that's what made it dangerous. Because the entire internet had turned into a courtroom, and Drake was on trial. Not just for beefing with Kendrick, but now for allegedly provoking a man who knocks out his opponents for a living. And Bud. He stayed silent, except for one repost, a tweet from a fan that said, "Drake tried to duck the fade." Bud made him feel it in stereo. Ouch. The narrative had shifted. Terence Crawford wasn't just a boxer anymore. He was a lyrical assassin, a surprise character in the biggest music beef of the decade. But just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier. Part 3 is about to drop a bomb, so twist it up till flip the entire story upside down, as the dust from Sparring Spirits was still settling. The internet kept spiraling deeper into madness. Hip-hop purists, boxing fans, and even casual listeners were all arguing the same thing. Was this just Crawford showing off? Or was it the opening shot in a full-blown war? And then boom, everything exploded again. Because early the next morning, a new Twitter thread went viral from none other than industry leak legend at Rap Whispers Uncut. Who posted? Exclusive. A private group chat between Kendrick's team and Terence Crawford's people confirms. The diss was strategic. PG Long is actively guiding Bud on a 3-part lyrical rollout. This was never random. Is pulling strings from behind the curtain. Stay tuned. #Drake, VSEVRY, BODY. The tweet included 2 blurred screenshots of a group chat. While most names were redacted, fans instantly matched one of the usernames to Dave Free, Kendrick's longtime manager and PG Long co-founder. In the messages, someone allegedly typed, "Bud handled that first round like a vet. Next one, we flip." The perspective, make it about the culture, the legacy, the weight, the next one. Yup, that tweet confirmed what fans feared. Sparring Spirits wasn't a one-off, it was round 1, and the second round was already in motion. But we ain't done yet. Because just a few hours later, Ebro from Hot 97 dropped a bombshell on air. Look, y'all think this is about ego and bars, but I just got confirmation from someone HIGH up that Kendrick and Bud been talking for months. This wasn't reaction it was a plan. Kendrick never told Bud what to say, but he told him, and I quote, "If you throw a punch, throw it clean. And throw it for the culture. That's all I'm gonna say." Boom. Now fans were screaming. Kendrick really mentoring Terence like it's the lyrical Olympics. Drake about to start training with Canelo at this point. Crawford not only mimicked Kendrick, Kendrick handed him the blueprint. Kendrick building an Avengers team now. Who's next? LeBron on the outro track. Meanwhile, blogs and YouTube channels were eating this up. Thumbnail after thumbnail screamed things like, "Crawford just snapped Kendrick pulling the strings. Drake in hiding. Terence's track gets 5 meters plays in 12 hours. Kendrick's Shadow War. The real reason he let Bud handle the gloves." And just when it felt like the world couldn't take another twist, Drake's silence finally cracked in the middle of the night. Drake posted a black and white Instagram story with no caption. Just a looping audio file in the audio. A distorted voice saying, "It's funny how the puppets want to fight when they forget who's holding the mic." No beat, no bars. Just that one ominous statement. The internet went feral. WAIT is Drake. Calling Bud a puppet. So Drake finally woke up and chose violence, huh? Drake Mad Bud sounded more like Kendrick than Kendrick did. But while everyone debated Drake's cryptic jab, another moment was quietly going viral. Private videos surfaced on TikTok, allegedly from a security guard working the PG Long compound. In the grainy footage, Kendrick Lamar is seen laughing while listening to Bud's diss on loop with Dave Free in the background, saying, "Wait till they hear the second one." Yup, there it was. That was the unofficial confirmation fans needed. Kendrick was in the loop, not just as a spectator, but possibly as a mastermind. Then, another twist. A leaked snippet of the upcoming second diss surfaced, and this time, it sounded like something straight out of Kendrick's Control era. But here's the twist. It featured a second voice. And it wasn't Kendrick. It was a distorted version of someone else impersonating Drake. In this duet, Crawford mocked a fake conversation between Drake and Kendrick. "Y'all got me feeling boxed in. You soft every time we spar, you post memes and get bot clicks. But I'm the boy. You, the boy wonder. I'm the man with the blueprint and the thunder." Fans were floored. Crawford wasn't just imitating Kendrick anymore. He was mocking Drake to impersonating both men in a lyrical boxing match against himself. And that's when the industry started getting scared. Because this wasn't just rap. This wasn't just beef. This was performance warfare, a digital battleground where voices, legacies, and egos were being bent and broken. Even veteran rappers started chiming in. Lupe Fiasco tweeted, "Y'all laughing now? But Bud's approach is genius." Psychological. Warfare meets performance art. Drake better think twice. T.I. reposted Bud's freestyle with a caption, "Y'all done woke up the monster. Ain't just the fists, no more." Joe Budden on his podcast said, "Crawford flipped the whole dynamic. He made a track that feels like Kendrick." That's not a diss, it's psychological domination. And fans couldn't get enough. TikTok. Trends, AI mashups. Reaction videos, it was everywhere. The hashtag Kendrick Voice War started trending worldwide. But here's where the real shocker hit. Part 2 of Crawford's diss isn't just a freestyle. It's a visual experience, filmed. In the same boxing gym, Kendrick once shot his Element video in .und. According to a fake but viral leaked email thread circulating online. The director, Dave Free. We said it by the time the news broke that Dave Free was allegedly directing the second visual diss from Terence Crawford. The culture, officially, went into meltdown. This wasn't just a moment, it was a cultural takeover. The line between boxing and hip-hop, gone. The boundary between Kendrick's lyrical kingdom and Crawford's physical dominance, blurred. And the internet. It was on fire. Twitter X was in absolute shambles. At Hip Hop Scholar, we just watched a welterweight start the next era of hip-hop beef. History books better document this. At Rap Alerts, Terence Crawford bodied Drake using Kendrick's voice. Now he's dragging him into a music video too. This man ain't rapping, he orchestrating a takedown. At Breathies J, Drake better stop subliminal posting and start ghostwriting some real bars. 'Cause Bud just made this man look like a side mission. And don't even get us started on TikTok. Fan edits flooded the For You page side by side. Clips of Drake reacting to push-ups and then supposedly hearing Bud's track for the first time. Overlays screamed phrases like, "This ain't even Kendrick. That's Bud." Drake got beat by a boxer who raps better than his writers. Terence ain't just throwing punches, he's writing history. Meanwhile, celebrity reactions were coming in hot. The game went on IG Live and straight up said, "I don't know what dimension we in, but Terence just ate Drake's ego for dinner. Ain't no boy in this story Bud the man now, and that Kendrick voice. Brew, I thought it was myself." NORE on Drink Champs shared. What's crazy is that Bud kept it classy. He didn't OD on disrespect, but the psychological warfare. Unmatched. That's more dangerous than any bar Drake ever spat. Even Swizz Beatz joined the wave, tweeting, "Kendrick taught the game how to duck. Bud teaching them how to JAB." But then came the backlash. Because let's be real, not everybody was laughing. Some Drake stans were furious at Team DRIZZY always, "How y'all hyping up a boxer impersonating Kendrick? That's not our tits desperation." At Drake's Defense Squad. Kendrick hiding behind Bud now. If you got a problem, step in the booth yourself again. Don't send fighters. And that was the spark that ignited the fan war. The internet split into 3 factions. The team Bud.Army, believing this is Kendrick's way of showing his influence goes beyond rap. They see Bud as the perfect messenger to humble Drake. The Drake's Not Bothered crew, claiming Drake is being mature by not responding with Barc's letting his legacy speak. This is deeper. Then rap truthers, fans who believe something bigger is brewing. That Kendrick, Bud, and maybe even other heavyweights are preparing a calculated, industry-shaking cultural campaign, and the media. They dove in head first. Rolling Stone dropped an op titled, "When Athletes Outsmart Rappers." The Crawford by Kendrick Alliance explained Vulture posted, "Drake's ego might not recover from this one, even CNN caught wind." Publishing a viral piece in their entertainment section, the knockout heard around hip-hop. Boxer uses Kendrick flow to dismantle Drake's persona, but the real moment that had everyone shook came during a surprise PG Lang Instagram reel, no caption. No HASHTAGS, just Kendrick, sitting in a dark studio, hood over his head, listening to Bud's track and nodding. Slowly, in the background, a faint soundbite. "If the voice don't scare you, maybe the next move will." Instantly, fans went feral. Kendrick is endorsing this. It's official. Bud is the lyrical chosen one. This man made a diss track, and the GOAT just gave him the crown. Is this Kendrick's spiritual successor in rap and rage? Even LeBron James got in on the drama, tweeting a gif of someone shadowboxing with the caption, "Sometimes the scariest punch is the one you don't see coming." Hashtag respect of craft, but the moment that took this saga to biblical levels. Leaked memo from Spotify reportedly warned their internal editorial team, "Be prepared for massive traction across rap and sports verticals." Terence Crawford's track is expected to hit top 10 on Viral 50 globally within 24 hours. Artist profile might be verified sooner than usual. Proceed accordingly. Yup. Terence Crawford might get a verified Spotify artist profile off one diss track. And guess what? We're not even done. Because just as fans caught their breath, one more message hit Bud's IG story. "I told y'all, it's just round 1. Video drops tomorrow. I'm not a rapper, I'm a revelation." The internet was still recovering from the firestorm that Sparring Spirits caused when it happened, the moment that took this whole saga from shocking to straight up legendary. On a quiet Wednesday morning, Terence Crawford dropped the music video. No teaser, no countdown, no warning, just a single post on his Instagram with a link and 3 words. Round 2, no mask. And in the first 10 seconds, fans were left speechless. The video opened with Terence standing in the middle of a boxing ring under a single flickering light, shirtless, gloved, drenched in sweat, but not fighting, rapping, and what's blasting through the speakers? His voice, Kendrick's cadence. But this time it's more refined, more menacing, and more personal than ever. You dance with shadows. I trained in that mic you hold. I bled on it before you even claimed it. But the most jaw-dropping moment. At exactly 1:07, the camera zooms in close on Crawford's face, fill-inly for a special effects filter to suddenly morph his features into Drake's. And then, while still rapping in Kendrick's flow, Bud now visually transformed into Drake, mockingly spits 6 God or 6 clowns. Boy, you play king but drown in fountains. The internet lost its mind. Yo, this is Black Mirror level petty. Bud really just became Kendrick impersonating Drake. I can't even process this. This not a diss, it's a psychodrama. But we ain't done yet. Because at the 2-minute mark, just when you think the track has reached peak venom, the beat switches entirely. The scene cuts to a locker room, dimly lit, full of smoke and sitting in the corner, watching footage of Drake concerts on a CRT television. Kendrick Lamar himself. He doesn't speak. He doesn't rap. He just looks at the camera, smirks, then nods once. Boom. The screen cuts to black, and just 4 words. Fade into view. Chapter 3. Unorthodox Steps. That's it. The entire culture collapses. Twitter starts convulsing. Reddit threads hit thousands of comments in minutes. Instagram Reels spin out dozens of breakdowns. TikTokers are already calling it the most disrespectful crossover in entertainment history. And the YouTube views. 4.2 million in under 8 hours. No ads, no push. Just pure virality. But here's where things get chilling. Minutes after the video dropped, a new story popped up on Variety. Citing an anonymous music exec, Crawford's next track features a surprise guest who's been out of the rap game for years. Let's just say the war just got even more dangerous. And in the same hour, fans discovered something that shook them to the core. On the cover art of the YouTube thumbnail for Sparring Spirits PT2. When zoomed in at 300%, you can clearly see a small pendant hanging off Crawford's glove. A tiny silver owl. Cracked in half. People went crazy. Did y'all peep that? The OVO chain broken. This man is sending messages. He's not just dissing Drake. He's building a visual language of destruction. First the voice, then the face, now the symbols. This is modern warfare. And the final twist. Just before midnight, Bud returned to Twitter with one cryptic tweet, I ain't finish. Round 3 ain't even about you. Wait, what if round 3 isn't about Drake? Then who is it about? Is Kendrick stepping in himself? Is J. Cole involved again? Or has Crawford aimed his next lyrical jab at the entire industry? One thing's certain, this ain't over. Not even close. Hugh, y'all still breathing after that? Because what Terence Crawford just did, that wasn't a diss. That was a psychological takedown, a cultural reset, and a lyrical earthquake all rolled into one vicious uppercut to the soul of hip-hop. He didn't just come for Drake's crown, he twisted it, tossed it in the dirt, and then dared Kendrick to pick it up again. And let's be real, this ain't no fantasy matchup anymore. This is war. But now, the real question is, who's next? Is Drake about to clap back with the fury of 10 ghostwriters? Will Kendrick stay quiet, or is he using Bud as the opening act for a much deeper plan? And what about that cryptic tweet? Round 3 ain't even about you. Who is that aimed at? We need to know, and we need to know now. So let's start the conversation. Drop a comment below. Do you think Drake is finished? Was Bud's impersonation a masterclass, or a step too far? And most importantly, should Kendrick respond next, or is the silence already loud enough? Don't forget to like this video. If your jaw hit the floor like ours did, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss round 3, because based on that cliffhanger, we're about to witness something even bigger. This is not just about rap anymore. This is about power, presence, and purpose. We'll be here with every twist, every leak, every mind-blowing moment. Until next time, stay locked in, because the next punch might just knock out the whole game.